Join for pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. So, I see something that's missing from our agenda is our reviewing that agenda. So before we do, before we review previous minutes, let's look at the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the agenda, or is it okay as it stands?
I don't know if it needs to be added to the agenda, but I'd like to discuss sand and stone and the trailer.
So, do we have a road commissioner's report? We'll add that, make sure we discuss that at that time. Does that work?
I didn't hear everything you said.
Well, when we discuss
Yes,
the
we can do
general
it
roads.
then.
So you wanted to add, so just so I know, so you wanted sand, trailer, and stone? Sand and salt and stone? Or did I hear that wrong?
Sand and stone and trailer.
Okay, not salt, gotcha.
Sand and stone.
And trailer. All right, anybody have anything else? I'd love a motion to accept the agenda then as amended.
So moved.
Second it.
Very good, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. So we have to review and approve the minutes of our previous meeting. Let's see, it looks like I've got, okay, so it was our January 9th meeting, which was our last regular meeting. And hold on a second. Those are the minutes and the agenda for the last one. Yes, and then it looks like we may also have, the budget meeting, or the special meeting when we open bids. We also have to approve those minutes. So did we have a chance to look at those online, and could I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion, we accept both of them.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Well, I wasn't here for the one.
Oh, right, so,
Right.
you want, well, let's vote on them separately
I'd
then.
like to split it if you
Yeah.
want.
So I'd hear a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of January
I'll
9th.
make the motion.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And I'll hear a motion for the special meeting on the,
I'll make the motion, we accept them.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
One abstain. So let the record show one abstention because he wasn't here for it. Oh, the special meeting was the January 23rd. And Steve, that requires your signature as well. Oops. I think I have to sign the other side of that too. Is there one there? Yeah. Oh, it took me years to learn how that works. All right. Next would be a report from our Regional Planning Commission.
Michelle and I attended the...
Oh, I'm sorry, would you state your name just for the record since...
Shelley Taylor, Rutland Regional Planning Commissioner. Michelle and I both attended the January meeting, I forget the date right off the top of my head. And it was pretty uneventful with the exception of the Act 250 portion of it. Castleton is, in the planner's own words, getting inundated with solar array requests. So Castleton has declared a moratorium for 8 months, I believe, on any kind of solar array decisions, so they can update their energy plan. And things were a little heated, but that's where they're standing firm. We talked about Mendon and cell towers. There's a proposed cell tower in Mendon on a ridge line behind the town clerk's office, if y'all know where that is. And the town is fighting it because Mendon decrees their ridge lines to be sacred. And it's, it's for enhanced 911, so they're attempting to find another spot for it. There was another mention of a solar array on top of a slate slag pipe, which I think is a pretty good idea. And this will go to later on your RRPC Emergency Mutual Aid Agreement. There was discussion in the entire, the main meeting about what it means. And there were towns in Clarendon who did not understand exactly where they were coming from. I believe the comments were, in the vein, if Clarendon borrows equipment or, stone or whatever from Wallingford, they don't need a contract because they're gonna pay for it, and Wallingford concurred that if they got it, that Wallingford was gonna come after it to make sure they got it back. But I think when they were through, there was a pretty good understanding, and a few towns had already signed it, but I know Danby was on the list of the ones who hadn't signed it yet,
Right.
or hadn't
And I
discussed it yet,
think-
and I see it's on the agenda.
Yes, 'cause what it is we had just gotten the copy at our last meeting and folks wanted a chance to read it over. But my understanding of it, and will you correct me if I'm wrong, please, but my understanding is that, and Charlie, I know you know something about this too, so thank you for being here too, is that this will enable it so that if we give aid to another town, then they are able to, if we have a mutual agreement, they can then tap into FEMA and state monies in order to pay us for the aid that we have given them.
It's
And the same
exactly
thing
that.
would be true if somebody came and brought us aid. We would be able to compensate them, and it wouldn't have to come out of our taxpayer dollars, or at least not all of it would. A
Right.
certain percent still would because of the ERAF.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's exactly right. Ed explained it very well at the meeting, and I think everybody did understand by the end of the meeting.
Yeah, so I don't see a downside, and there's nothing that requires us to respond. It's still, just as it always is, up to us. Like when we helped Dorset out last year in the flood, it's a
Right.
decision that we make as a town, and nobody's gonna make that decision for us. So I didn't see a downside to it,
The way it was presented at the meeting, I didn't see a downside to
you
it.
know?
And it bridges that gap that's not currently in statute.
Right,
So there is no way to recoup from FEMA.
right. Did anybody, when they read through it, have any questions? Because with Shelley here, she might be able to answer some of them. So okay, great.
And the only other thing I have is we do have the Rutland Regionals workshop on Monday, the 17th at Bob and
Right.
Tim's place. And everybody's welcome. There will be food. We're serving pizza, apparently. And,
Good thing.
this is the next step on the town plan. So that'll happen. And a shout out to the road crew. I've seen some negative stuff on Facebook lately. I gotta tell you, when I'm out going to work at 4:45 and the roads are crappy, I'm meeting the guys.
So's my husband at 4:30, 4:30,
Yeah.
4:45 in the morning, yeah, I know.
So, a little less activity maybe on Facebook, and
Yeah. Well, thank you
I appreciate it.
Thank you for saying that. I have a question. I'm just curious. Why is Castleton being overrun with requests for solar? Do you have any idea why it's concentrating there?
No, I don't. There was quite a little bit of a dust up. She said inundated, but the only solar array proposals were 2. But apparently there's a lot of disagreement in the town where they're proposing to put them.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure what inundated means. I only saw 2.
Right.
There might have been 15,
Right.
but they didn't share that.
Okay.
But they are definitely feeling overwhelmed.
Okay. So, and it might just be that 2 is overwhelming them because they haven't made community-wide decisions yet.
That and their plan is not updated
Right.
to that point, so I think they're feeling very unprotected.
Yeah, they're behind the 8 ball on that. Yeah, I can understand how that could be. Interesting. Thank you.
No problem.
Anybody have any questions for Shelley?
If that's it,
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going.
You are going
Just
home.
before you go, and also for anybody else, we received the Taconic and Green annual reports. They're right there if anybody wants one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next we're on to roads. You want us to start by giving an overview, and then I think we have little pieces of roads, things that we can go to too.
Well, we kind of, the crew's been working a little bit longer because we had 2 of our tandem trucks down. And they were keeping the roads up best as they could. I know, well, I don't go on to the negative report part of it, but, we were just trying to keep up with a 1 ton and with 1 tandem, and 2 of them were down. We got the western tire fixed as far as, so we can sand anyways, and we just got called today and, internationals already. They finished it up this afternoon. So we'll be getting that back. And, for these small storms, they're killing us. I mean, with cold, then mud, then right back to not much snow on there, so, you know, we're just, trying our best to keep the road safe and stuff, so. And they've been putting in a lot of hours, and, as far as I'm concerned, they've been doing a great job for the troubles we've had, so.
Well, last Friday in the storm, I had to go to Rutland at 4:30. I had to get there, pick up a prescription, and so I went to Rutland and back, and I had, you know, it was an uneventful trip, and it was pretty snowy out, so it was good.
Can I just ask, there's 2 big trucks and you're saying one of them was down? Is that-
No,
Two of them.
we
Two
had-
of the, two of
We
the,
had
we have,
two of
we
the
have
tandems
three,
were down at one point.
we have 3 tandems
Yeah.
and 2 were down. And one was repaired more quickly, but one is, still, going to be picked up probably next week, right?
Yeah.
And anything else particular for roads? I might have some things, and Steve had some things. Steve, you wanted to talk about sand, trailer and stone?
Yes. When we were going over the pricing, we were figuring out how much we were saving using Clear Lane. It came to my attention that we have never paid the prepay to Tommy. So we've been paying $2 a yard for our material more than we should have.
We discussed that prepay lots of times. I wonder why we didn't.
We supposed, I thought we was gonna do that back
We
in
were gonna
July.
buy 5,000 yards prepaid,
That's what
and
I
it
thought.
never happened. So somewhere along the lines, we're all at fault, I guess, because nobody questioned Doug early enough, but it's, so far, it's,
Or maybe nobody told Doug.
or maybe nobody told
Yeah.
Doug, but so far, it's cost us $7,000 this year.
Yeah, because he was gonna save us about 10,000 if we
Right.
prepaid.
Right. 'Cause I talked to Tom the other day, and he said, off the top of his head, he thought we'd used 3,500 yard of material. So, you know, we've lost 7,000, roughly.
And we need more.
Yes, I was, so, thinking of sand, looks like Doug's written me a note here, saying what our balance is for what we've got left, and it's under $5,000. And we still have some winter to go. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think you gotta put a lot of sand down that don't really need to be down. I don't think you gotta do it twice and put it on so thick.
You guys, I told
You know?
them the other day, you guys told me put whatever you want down, I'll do it.
Because, I went through Timoth and I didn't have no problem in their roads, back roads, and they didn't have none. And yesterday I went to Don Wood,
But doesn't Timoth use the clear lane?
no, on the
They-
dirt roads.
Oh, okay.
On the dirt
Oh,
roads.
I'm sorry.
And that's pretty hilly up through there, and they ain't sanded like Danby's are.
When you spoke with Tommy, did you ask if we could still do a prepay for the rest of the season or anything like that?
No, I didn't, because the agreement on the prepay was for July 1st, was when we were supposed to pay him.
So we lost.
We've lost.
Yeah.
There is no more, the discount was for us paying it early to give him early influx of money that he could use. At this point, it's too late. The only thing we can do now is in the future, if we get the prepaid price again, is to make sure that it gets
Gotta
paid.
cut the check immediately. I think
Because
what
at this
happened-
point, if we had done that, instead of you saying we're down around 4,000, we would have 11,000 to
We would
work
have
with.
11,000, right, I know, it hurts. It hurts bad. Yeah, and I'm thinking that it's primarily a communication problem. One of the hardest things we do. So we made a decision, but somehow we didn't communicate that to Doug.
We are when we put it out next year, we do it like we did this year.
I'm sorry?
When we do next year's bid, we are gonna do the prepaid like we did.
We're gonna ask to have it bid
We'll ask to
prepay,
have it
yes.
prepaid, sure.
Just like last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll follow up with Doug, because I am confused, because I know that several meetings ago, quite a few early coming into the winter season, I know we discussed this and asked if that had been prepaid, and I thought we had determined that it had been.
Taken care of, so.
Because this isn't the first time that it's come up, and I thought it was taken care of. So I'll follow up and see if I can find out a little bit more of exactly where the miscommunication happened, so that we can put a finger in that dike and make sure it doesn't happen again.
I also put a note on the calendar for June.
And that's a good idea too. All right. All right, so that is sand
Well, it'd be sand and the stone.
and stone. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I found a 25 ton, I believe it's 25, may only be 20 ton, equipment trailer on Craigslist for sale for $7,900. It has all new brakes. The tires, they're saying, is 90%. It's got a new deck and it's been painted. It's up in Enosburg Falls. If it's something we're interested in, I'd be willing to go with any of you or Charlie to go up there and look at it.
What's wrong with ours besides brakes and the planking? You can do brakes a lot cheaper
And
than
we've
$7
outgrown
grand, huh?
We've outgrown it.
What is
'Cause
that?
right now, our excavator is heavier than that trailer's legal to haul.
How many
It
ton
will
trailer?
haul it, but it's not legally rated high enough for it.
But we don't draw it just a little bit here in Danby.
If it ain't legal, we ain't hauling it. We can't do it. We were putting licenses online.
Then I say get rid of the excavator and buy a rubber tired one so we can drive it down. That's the way to go for that.
And then we're gonna spend a lot of extra labor having them move that 10 feet each time they're ditching.
Getting paid for it, ain't they? It's funny that that trailer was okay all this time. Now it's not heavy enough.
Well, the trailer itself, I'm not saying it can't haul it, because we both know that it can haul it.
Been doing it. Been doing a good job.
But legally, if we have to go to, say, Springfield with that machine to get it worked on, if we get stopped,
Then
there's an
hire-
overweight ticket, then the town should be responsible for
What
paying it
would be
if we're going
cheaper?
to run that.
It'd be cheaper to hire Tommy to take it to.
Yeah, well, then you're
Or
looking
something
at
like that.
$1,200, $600 each way, so that's not a whole lot of times doing that for a trailer.
Yeah, but this trailer's used, so you don't really know what shape it's really in.
Well, that's why he wants to go look at it.
I mean, paint can cover up a lot of stuff.
True.
Sure, it can.
What year is it?
2004.
What year's ours?
2004.
2004, did you say? That's the same here.
I don't know what the excavator weighs. I don't know that.
15,700 pounds. The 70 that we used to have is 14,020 pounds. The trailer itself, once you subtract the weight of the trailer, the legal payload is 14,600 pounds.
On our trailer?
Right. So
And
we're
the-
only looking at 1,000 pounds overweight, but in the eyes of DOT, that's still overweight. I have no issue if we want to fix this trailer, to fix it and use it, and the town pays any overweight tickets, that's fine. But it's been 3 years that we've been gonna fix this trailer and we haven't done a damn thing to it. We either need to look at getting a trailer or fix this one.
I know we can put brakes on it a lot cheaper than $8,000
Well, last year you said we were gonna fix it for 5,000 and we haven't done a
Who
thing
said-
to it.
Who said they're gonna fix it for
You
5?
did. That
I
was
never-
the number
no.
that you threw out, that we could fix
I
it for
said you
5,000.
could put 5,000 in it, if you had to.
Well, we need to do something about this trailer.
Is this, this trailer that you wanna look at, is it significantly larger than the one we have?
Weight-wise, I'm not sure on length-wise whether it is or not. I believe it would be longer.
But and so ours can hold 14,000 pounds.
14,600.
How much can that one hold?
I believe it was a 20-ton, so if you take off even 6,000 pounds for the weight of the trailer, you're looking at, do the math, stupid, 34,000.
So it could carry twice,
It could carry
more than
16
twice the
ton.
weight that ours is carrying.
Right.
So does that go at all to wear and tear? You know, so we fix up ours, but if we're carrying something that's a little too heavy for, so if we're gonna put
If you-
5,000
Go
into.
ahead and buy it. Let them buy it. That's what they wanna do.
Well, last time we went up, checked the trailer out, it was junk.
Oh, the last one you went to look at, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
think they went.
Charlie and I went to the state's auction, looked at the
Yeah.
trailer. We discovered things that were wrong on it, that need fixing, that we didn't think were worth buying. We came home empty-handed.
That's part of the auction.
Well, and the same thing could happen with Craigslist. I mean, you don't know until you see it. It could be junk.
But it seems like it's worth taking a look.
Should we dispatch
I
somebody?
have a couple questions. One is if we fix the existing one, that doesn't solve the capacity problem.
Well, if it's close, but not,
Right.
And the second is, if we've got a new 34,000 capacity, does that mean we could put one of our tandems on it so that we don't have to pay to select it?
It's an interesting question. I don't know the answer.
What was that?
Could one of our
you put a
tandems,
tandem
in
on
other
it
words,
and you
would
have
we
to
no
take a
longer have to
freight
pay Tom to truck our tandems if we had that trailer?
Oh, no. You'd be
Heights-wise,
overheight.
heights-wise, I don't think we could.
You'd be overheight.
Because the trailer's too high.
Because the trailer, it's a deck over trailer, so that the deck itself is above the wheels.
Gotcha.
By the time you load a tandem on there,
You're
you're
too
probably
top
too
heavy.
high. You're too high for the
Wires,
wires.
Wires and things. Oh,
bridges.
okay. Good question, Chris.
Why don't we, we've used this, what year is this trailer we got now?
Oh, more.
They're both 04s, which is the interesting thing. It's just that one's a beefier 04.
I believe.
and this one here ain't been drove in salt every day either. And that one up there, for all you know, it did.
Well, this one's been pulled around this yard in the salt too.
Yeah, but, I mean, that ain't like going down a friggin' road 100 miles in salt every day.
If we ever used our trailer to haul the excavator out of town,
Yes.
all these years.
We've been to Springfield
With this excavator,
with this excavator.
Most of the time, they come over to service it over here, right?
They have, yes. They've been most of the time. There was one time we had to take it over there.
So, you know, it seems like we could save a little money by fixing up ours, but
At
then,
least get a quote, to see,
what if we do, well, I think if people are gonna go look at that and it's on Craigslist, I kinda think, I know when I go to look at something like that, if I'm gonna look at it, I sorta have to be authorized to buy it, or else you're gonna lose.
That's what I'm looking for, cause I'm not gonna spend 8 hours.
Right, I
It's gonna
know,
be 4 hours up and 4 hours back.
yeah.
If-
So,
So I don't think we can say, let's look into both at the same time, or we'll lose that opportunity.
Yeah, that's not gonna stay for sale
Right.
forever.
So I don't know, I mean, one way I'm looking at it is that, you know, brakes and the planking and fixing ours up might cost as much as 5,000, maybe less,
no.
less.
a lot less. Brakes ain't that expensive for them.
Mm-hmm.
And planking, that
Yeah,
ain't,
and I already checked with,
Rico? Did you check with him?
on the planking with Ray Nichols up to, Gagman's up there, and, he had it, he's got all the measurements and stuff, but we just never got around to doing it, cause that was what, 3 years ago, I had Ray come down and measure it up, just so we had the right amount of planking, and then, maybe we can get an estimate from Rico on,
$70 an hour.
yeah, but I mean,
He
on the
didn't give me a
brakes.
total. He didn't give me a total.
But the brake kits, I've never fooled around with brake kits on big trailers, so I know on my regular 7,000-pound ones, it's half a day job to get them put on.
It needs some work. Because the tires were locked up on it.
That electric brakes? Yeah, you buy the whole thing all in one piece.
Yeah, that's what mine, you just buy the whole kit. and
That's
put
what
it
I do on
on.
my cattle trailer. You buy the whole complete thing, stick it on.
Want to get an estimate on it to get it? I'm looking at the point is if we have to haul it, which we've only probably done it, what, once since we've,
Now, if we do keep this trailer, the town is gonna pay for the fines for the overload?
well,
course.
we're not gonna haul it out of town.
No.
Yeah, if something happens in
I mean-
town, you don't know. These drivers around here, I hate to say this, I mean, I'm just as bad, but there's some foolish things that are going on.
Well, we're back to the what ifs, so.
Right. Well, I'm just asking.
Is there liability associated with,
That's what I'm asking, is if
Yeah.
insurance will cover it if we knowingly put on an overloaded trailer, I don't know if that voids the insurance.
I don't know.
do you know, Steve?
I cannot speak for insurance, I have no idea.
I would make a motion to authorize Steve and Charlie to go look at it, and if it appears to be in good order, to purchase it.
What's the price of a new one?
I haven't looked at new ones.
Because it's really, to me, it's kind of stupid to buy something the same year as we got. You don't know, paint does a lot for, you can make anything look new with paint.
The price we paid for that one was $69.95.
New?
Mm-hmm, new.
And you bought it new in '04.
Well, I think before we do anything, I think I'd see what new would cost.
Anyway, we can
I
find
mean,
find that out now.
Pull
If
up
it's-
what a new one costs on your
No.
phone there.
Can you,
Google it.
yeah, I was gonna say, can we do a little research?
Again, one of you guys.
you wouldn't, if you got one, that's a 20-ton?
Yep.
I'll be a minute.
Yep, okay.
You wanna go to the dry hydrant and clean up while we're waiting?
Well, I kinda need Charlie for that.
I'm
No.
go ahead.
Well, but I mean, you're trying to look that up, so why don't we jump one forward and look at signing our town road and bridge standards? So the standards below are considered minimums, the municipality, so this is that same, this is that same form that you all looked at where we had to decide whether we were saying yes or no, and it's the hydrologically connected road segments. And we had filled this all out, so I'm assuming we're updating this for another year, is that correct? So you all, a little group of you, I think, had worked to determine, I know Steve, you were on that, which answers we were to say, but I do think we need to circle yes or no below to indicate town adoption of that section of the standards. And I know we did this last year, and I think we accepted them all, didn't we?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
price?
Roughly 19,000.
19.2,
19,000.
19.3, yeah.
that's just one place, but,
Yeah.
I mean,
Check with
That's-
Lucky.
That's ballpark,
Oh,
yeah.
I can call Lucky. See what we get for one.
yeah.
But it's gonna be in that rough range. It could be give or take.
Yeah. Who knows?
So we have in our equipment reserve fund, $114,000.
I probably use a lot of that on that tandem getting fixed. We don't know what that bill is gonna be either.
Yeah, and we don't know.
I mean, so that,
Well, Charlie might have an idea, because they
Oh,
changed the estimate on the brakes.
They did change the estimate, but they've been on it a long time, I don't know if they're gonna be.
Well, they had the estimate, they dropped it down, so the only additional was that, airbag. So they should stick. Well, that's why
So,
when we go
so
up,
what, if they
make
stuck
sure
to
they
what they
stick with it.
said, what do you think it would come in at?
geez, they
Oh, that's-
dropped it down. Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't remember.
What was
I'm gonna
that?
say, was it 7,000 for,
No, that was what the high
That
number.
was-
They were
that
gonna
was-
drop it down from there.
yeah, then they dropped it
2,800
down.
and something, wasn't it?
I don't know.
28.
But then we don't know how much it was to fix the problem with the coolant, right?
One
Well,
of
that
them
was already,
One of them was $3,000 and the radiator was 1,800, not including labor, if I remember right.
So we could be looking at somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000.
Yeah, 5,800, yeah.
Sounds like more than that.
why don't we, no. That's on Craigslist, you said, so, it's a chance of.
So I think I'm hearing you say though that we really, we don't use the trailer. So how often do we use the trailer in town? Is this something that you're regularly hauling equipment around on?
It depends on the week.
Mhm.
Some weeks we don't even move it for a month. And there's other times we move it 4 times a week, you know, it depends. I mean, when we had that July storm, how many times I load and unload that thing in one day?
We're all over the place. But then, like you said, you got times that trailer just sits there.
Right. Well, so I am just wondering about buying something brand new to just sit there.
I don't know.
On the other hand, brand new things work when you go to get them.
Did you check with Lucky and see if you have any used ones?
Nope.
I think that's what we should do.
Why don't we just, I know if this trailer gets sold, then they're gonna say, well, we shouldn't have waited, but, you know, I'm gonna take partial blame, cause like I said, it's been 3 years. We got the decking all lined up and we just never followed through on doing the brakes and stuff. And, is there any other problems with the trailer, rust wise, or?
I haven't been under, we were undercoating it, we were taking it to Clarendon, or.
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah,
So it should
we
be
were
halfway decent then.
When was the last time that was done?
6 years ago, 5 years ago, when Bob went for the inspection sticker on
So we haven't had one to use in 5 or 6 years?
Lucky's.
So.
We haven't had it undercoated in 6 years.
No,
that
but-
could be quite a bit
But with the
worse.
brakes and the planking on, when was the last time we used this trailer?
14.9 at Lucky's
Last
for a 20 ton.
How much?
2 weeks ago.
14.9.
So we're using it currently,
15, it says
That's what I did.
14,999.
What's that? Yeah.
15,000 Lucky's?
15,000 at
We're gonna
Lucky's.
pay 8,000 for a 16-year-old one.
Yeah, you'll probably take that one in trade. I think,
I'd say hold
it's,
off.
I'd say just, let's see what he can do. Because still, Jesus, if you spend $8,000 for one and, you know, and it is something underneath us.
Well, 16 years old too. This one here for another $7,000,
Yeah.
you get a brand new one. But we can always check and like I said, Lucky may,
If he gives us 2,000 or 3,000 for this used one,
if you would give us 2,000 or 3,000 for the used one and the new one's 15,
Yeah,
then
it'd be a no-brainer.
for 2004 to something new, yeah. What do you think, Steve?
I agree with that. The
So-
whole point of me bringing this trailer up is we need to
We
do
need to
something
do
about a
something,
trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We either need to fix what we got or we need to move on.
So let's, so who's going to contact Lucky
I'll
and?
go see him.
Okay.
I know
Doug
him.
deals with
Alright.
it all the time, so.
Great. All right, so you'll do that and bring the information back to us or shoot us all an email or something so we know, okay?
For the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
have it
get
for
this.
that.
Yeah. All right. All right, next meeting's coming up quick, town meeting.
Yeah.
This is a short time, so.
So the motion died for lack of a second.
Yes, it did, but we have a plan to go forward. Did you catch that, Chris? So,
The motion didn't go anywhere.
right, so the motions didn't go anywhere
It
because there
didn't
was
have
no
a
second,
second.
so you don't need to, because the further discussion, we determined that we were going to ask Doug to look into, pricing a new one. Because, 2004 was a long time ago. Seems like yesterday, but it
Yeah.
was a long time ago.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, good, thanks for that discussion, that was good.
So we have that done.
The dry, the bids for the dry hydrant and the cleanup. So Charlie, do you wanna tell folks what Greg told you?
He recommends that you split them up. Just because he recommended, like Ken Abbott, blue dry hydrant, and then you have a little money for, they would, you know, if you go for the higher bid, and you say this one guy is doing it, then you have nothing. That's what he's saying, FEMA's got all the numbers. And you can, if you don't think one person can do a job, then have it, you know, that's your obligation. If you don't think they can do it, then don't let them do it if they're the lowest bid or whatever.
So am I hearing this right, that last time we discussed the fact that we didn't feel comfortable separating out the amounts, because we had, each party had bid on two separate projects, the dry hydrant and the reclamation. And, what Greg's saying is that FEMA's seen the numbers and they are going to expect us to take the low.
Or have some reason why you didn't take the lowest.
Right. And it was a difference, I thought, of like $7,000 total
Yeah.
or something. Am I
Yeah.
remembering that right? Do you remember that? I think,
I probably have it written
yeah, I
down.
probably have.
Yeah, it was around that amount.
I think
So Ken Abbott was the cheapest on the dry hydrant at $8,575.
yeah.
And Dan Allard was the cheapest on the cleanup at $7,400.
What, he said that was up to you guys. You didn't call him?
I did, so I do have confirmation that that's what Greg feels strongly we should accept those bids. That those are the low bids, and the issue is that if we don't, then, you know, if we don't have a good reason to justify going for the higher bid, then the likelihood that we'll get reimbursed for the, is slim, so it'll just have to come out of our
We'll
own
end up
pocket.
paying a difference.
So my own thought about this, I know we had a long discussion about it last time, but is to go ahead and vote to award it to those, and then of course we're gonna be having a conversation with them, and if they say, no, I'm not gonna do it because I expected both, then we just have to go back to the drawing board. But let's move something forward so
Yeah.
that we find out. Does that feel all right to folks?
Try it.
Yeah,
All right, so who would be?
I'll make the motion, we give Ken Abbott the dry hydrant, because he's the lowest and he has experience doing them. And I'll make the motion that we have Dan Allard do the cleanup.
What was, Adams for the cleanup?
$8,360.
How much is Danny at?
$7,400.
Okay, I just want, cause I didn't have that here, okay.
ALLARD.
Allard, yeah, A-L, double two L's, I think, A-R-D.
Yes.
Do we have a second to
I'll
Steve's
second
motion?
that.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just have a question on the whole thing. How far over the bridge does Parker Road extend?
right to his house.
right to the house.
Right around his house, a circle, he got his
So
little
that's the
driveway.
circle, so
Yeah.
that's your turnaround.
Yeah,
That's out there.
Yeah.
that's, I mean, not too many people have their,
Right,
right, their front door pretty near plowed for and sanded.
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yeah, sweet, sweet.
Sweet deal.
Shit, I'm gonna have to start doing mine.
Call it
Sick
light
of,
road.
sick of walking
I
out
wouldn't
on
want one of
ice.
those trucks on mine. Ah, too narrow. All right, so we have a motion on the motion's made and seconded.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And so who is going to let them know? Would that be Charlie that lets them know that? Is that all right with you, or it's fine with me?
that's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Charlie. So next is signing the town road and bridge standards. And I think that last time we circled yes to all of these things, and this is the basis on which our municipal, that big plan that Stephanie Broke brought to us is based on. And so I'm not seeing a reason to change it. Is anybody else seeing a reason to change it? So,
Make the motion, we go ahead and sign it.
all right, so then we have to circle. So we're just circling yes to absolutely everything. Is that what you, here, I'm gonna let you do that because you did it last time.
Is the motion to circle yes and sign, or just?
Yeah, yes, I don't know that we need a motion for that because it's, we're really just refilling out the form the same way we filled it out last year. So I would just say that we're responding to the questions consistent with what we did last year.
Yeah, sign it, Paul.
Oh,
All right. Yes, you've got to sign, although it says sign here and I don't see a sign. Oh, well, it's just to fill that out. So here's, past, yeah, so sign on one of those bottom lines. Do the same.
that's your charge?
Yeah, that's his.
Today is,
Oh,
Lens.
ain't
that's
mine.
mine.
Look like Charlie's.
It looked like it.
Today's the 13th, isn't that correct?
That's
Yes.
right.
Correct.
Okay. And then I think, along with that, we have a certification of compliance for the town road and bridge standards. And so this reads that we would be signing the certification of compliance, Chris, for the town road and bridge standards. Don't make me say that again. I can hand this to you in a minute, Chris, after we sign it, and then you can. So it's we, the legislative body, certify that we've reviewed and understand and comply with the town road and bridge standards, public works specific standards, passed and adopted by the select board on. Now, we passed and adopted these before, but maybe they're asking us to, and we just signed it, so I think we fill in today's date. So. We further certify that our adopted standards do meet or exceed the minimum requirements included in June 5th state-approved template, which we know they do from the meeting we had with Stephanie and reviewing that. We further certify that we do have an up-to-date highway network inventory which identifies location, size, deficiencies, conditions of roads, bridges, causeways, culverts, and highways-related retaining walls on class 1, 2, 3 highways and estimated costs of repair. So that's that chart that we had the last time, two meetings ago. So we're just certifying that we have those things and that we've adopted these. Can I have a motion to sign the certificate of compliance? It says certification of compliance.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll send that around. Oh, we felt the date. All right. Oh. And after we sign it, let's hand it to Chris so he can get it right for the. Okay. Brad, after you sign it, maybe hand it to Chris.
Yep.
That'd be great. Okay, next is a fleet permit for Newport Sand and Gravel and Barrett Trucking. Let's see, this one, oh, there's another one here too. S. Adams Excavating, we also have the fleet permit for. S. Adams has 3 trucks, maximum weight is 60,000. Do you wanna do them all together?
All one time.
Okay. Barrett Trucking, they have 4 trucks. Their heaviest truck is 108,000. It says 1 piece of equipment,
Yeah.
so I guess it carries 1 piece of equipment. And that's Barrett, and I think we've done them before. And
Yeah.
then finally, we have Newport Sand and Gravel, and their largest truck is 99,000. They have 1 truck at that. The others are 60 to 80.
I'll make the motion, we sign them.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and it looks like,
Just one
it looks
signature?
like it probably just need the chair.
You need to modify the agenda or not?
No, it's okay that we had another, that often happens. This is the time of year they come in. So we'll just let the minutes show that there was an additional one. Okay. And this has come back from,
No.
Yep.
okay, and the other signature page of it, is that still over with Chris? Okay. We just need to make sure we get that before we leave. All right, next up is review and, no, that's what we did, sign liquor license for Otter Creek Campground. Let me make sure we don't have, yep, so it looks like it's the Otter Creek Campground, and it's their renewal of their annual liquor license.
I'll make the motion, we sign it.
Second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass it that way first. So, motion to ratify the amendments to the Danby traffic ordinance, acted on January 9th. So, traffic ordinance, amendments. Can you walk us through those?
Well, everybody signed it. We kind of goofed, because we left it that you wanted to see the
Reaction.
The,
ordinance after we discussed everything. And
oh, was that the
there
one
should have
that,
been a motion attached to that, but there wasn't.
okay,
So everybody reviewed it and signed it. So now we need to,
we didn't make a motion at that time, is that
No.
what you're saying? Okay, all
No.
right. So the amendment, it wasn't that change that we caught with the signage,
yeah.
it was that, okay, okay.
And you've already, everybody has, it's right there in your folder.
Yeah, I thought that we'd all,
Everybody has signed it, so
Right.
now we just need to have an official motion that ratifies it.
okay. And, but what we
It's been-
signed did include that change with the stop signs, okay.
And it's been advertised.
I know
Yep.
it was advertised, yeah,
Well, I make the motion.
okay,
I'll second it.
all right. Chris, did you catch what that motion is
Yeah,
for?
is it to ratify the signatures from last month?
Right, for the traffic ordinance. So it's a motion to ratify the amendments to the Danby traffic ordinance. All right, so we don't need to re-sign, we just need to vote?
Right.
Yeah. Any further discussion? I had to, wait, do we have a second?
Yeah, I second.
Oh, you did, okay, sorry, I didn't hear. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I'm good on that. Oh, I'll leave that right where it is. The license. Put that under here. Okay. Discussion of purchasing new tractor and mower. So our tractor and mower discussion. Yes, and I'm kicking myself because I came right from an appointment and I didn't bring that estimate that I did find. And it's sitting on my counter at home.
That was for that, the first
Yeah,
one.
The first one. I think it was 14,000. Am I remembering that right?
No, it was 120 something.
Oh, yeah, then that's not.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it was over
I think it
120,000.
was 114. Maybe that's what, for some reason I thought that. But anyway,
No, we're getting the 114 because that's the amount of money in
That's
the
left in the equipment
equipment
reserve.
fund.
Okay, that's where that
I
figure's coming
think
from.
the tractor and the mower came to 129,000.
Okay. All right, but the question is, so we've been discussing getting a new tractor, and what have people are gonna do some more research, right?
Yeah. And I know that Janice emailed everything that we got from Pete's Equipment. And, you know, they've sent down, I think, 5 different tractors, 2 different mowers, and a lot of varying prices. I have one from Salem Farm Supply for Maxim, and the mower that they sell for it. I guess the first thing I would say is, are we looking towards a tractor that we're going to be trading in at 8-10 years, or are we looking for something we want to keep for 20 years?
Good question.
Because in my opinion, without even going by any pricing, we would take all the little tractors and ignore them
And what do you
if
consider?
we're gonna
little?
stay for 20
Is there a
years.
horsepower level that you're
They're all,
designated as little?
the International and one of the John Deeres, or 2 of the John Deeres were 110, 115 horsepower. Some of the John Deeres were, I think it was down to 90 horse. Yeah, there's a 5090M with a loader that's about a 90 horsepower tractor. Doesn't say exactly though.
So do you all have a sense of what horsepower we need to do
Yeah,
this job?
I talked with Tim over there and he concurred with that you were talking with Jack over there, and West Rupert has the 125 horse Maxim, which they said that would be all we needed plus. And if we go, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking for long term. This thing, which should have never lasted this long, I don't know why it did, it cost us a lot of money. But, and I had Tim go over the whole thing, and he was just going with other towns that use this. I think that one's 115 horse and one's 125 horse, and there's not much difference in price.
I was gonna say, is there much difference in
No,
terms of
once you get that
horsepower
big
when
a
you get that
tractor.
big? Yeah.
But the thing was, the 125 has got all the hydraulics front and back, which will take any piece of equipment we buy in the future. If we want to get a backhoe, if we want to get a broom, want to get a York rake, it's all there. We don't have to do any add-ons. So I didn't really get into the price thing on it, but, and after talking with Tim all that time about it, he said, like I said, West Rupert has one, and I think he said Grafton has one, and any other towns that have bought other tractors, different brands, they don't hold up. So I'm a believer that go with a little bit extra and get something we're gonna have for long term, and
And we primarily use this for mowing this road.
well,
so
Just
no, not
doing
really.
road
This is
sides.
big enough so we can load our tandems.
It would reach
The
to load
new,
the tandem?
the new one.
The new
I think
one.
I used
The new one. Wow, this thing we got out there when he load our one ton,
No,
so.
but,
And then we just, whatever we decide to do, I didn't even talk to him about trading it in, cause I don't even think they wanted it, but,
When I talked to Jack, he said he really didn't wanna look at it.
so I think we just put it up for sale as is, complete. And maybe some small town will want it for roadside mowing. Get what we can get out of it.
well, I'm not really too crazy about that over the rail mower,
Well, that's the other thing, we gotta,
because,
West Rupert's got it, I think, like I talked with you, Doug, I think we should go over and see what they advantage or disadvantage. I'm, price-wise and stuff, I wanna look at both. I think we can do majority of the mowing with just, what we got basically with this, with, probably a 6-foot
yeah,
on the side, but let's look at the boom and see what the price is difference, whether it's gonna be feasible, look into it.
but the only trouble with that, we're gonna have a lot of pissed off people in town. Because they're gonna be doing just like they do all on the railroad. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
look like shit.
I only got one thing to add. Remember this new state standards? What you gonna do with that tractor? You gonna stick it right in those ditches and that stone and blow some tires?
I'm not
What?
understanding you.
The new state standard where we wrap these ditches like your house
Yeah?
to mow it, to get it back, you're gonna have to put that tractor around that stone.
Interesting. When I think about my house and that stone, I can't imagine, why is it that you need to mow beyond the stone? I mean, that's
Because in
3
about a
feet.
year, you're gonna have all box elders growing up.
Well,
in
that's
every one of
true.
them.
And
That's
some of
just
these
the
banks
habitat.
really need mowing. I mean, this up here needs mowing big time.
Well, let's look into, well,
So the mower
I'm-
we have wouldn't reach beyond those stone things, is that what you're saying?
That's only a
No.
5-footer. You can get them 7-foot.
And over the rail you can do, over the guardrail, you wouldn't have to.
So the
I mean-
one thing I am just, and I don't know how it happened or why it happened, and it doesn't matter, but I remember that it just looked like hell, and I was just embarrassed of
Yeah.
our town,
Yeah.
was when somebody took some piece of equipment to Steve Berzon's lilac bushes.
Oh, yeah. They-
And if we're gonna do our roadsides like that, I would be embarrassed to live in this
Then
town.
that's what we're gonna do if we get that.
Is that what the side mower
Yep.
does?
That's what
yeah,
that side
reach
mower
out there
does.
and-
Have to.
That's what, oh, no, I know, you don't have to, but you would.
And I've seen the back roads that I've been on, and they are doing it. They're bringing them up on the side and they're getting them back for the reason that they're gonna be growing in. We're gonna have to hand cut it eventually, but it depends on what you want. I mean, we should have it in a way to keep the roads way back, but it is gonna look like, just like the first time when we got this mower. You went on Corey Hill, you were driving, and that was the first one.
He hollered like that.
It looked like crap, but then after 2 or 3 years, it grows in as grass, but long as you're not taking personal property out. I mean, like lilac bushes or,
No.
I mean, that's, I don't know.
Well, I mean, those I think were in the
I
town
think we
right
should
away.
look
It's
in-
just that
That-
half of them were in the right of way and they just sheared off it was horrible.
The thing, this is gonna eliminate, we won't have to cut no brush, the guys won't have to cut no brush. This will do all the brush cutting for them.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a bad thing. Cause it's gonna look like hell when they're done. Cause, I don't know.
I can go either way on it, but I'd like to go over and look at the one that West Troopers got and just see, I forget what he said the reach was on it. I wanna say it was,
Well, if it's the same one,
it's a Land Pride. I know he said they are available, so it's nothing we have to wait for.
I don't think that's Land Pride.
I know Pete told me whatever
quick
mowers
catch.
he was putting on, it wouldn't be available until July. I don't
No,
know.
I asked him and he said, Land Prides are available. They got them. I mean, they're available. Land Pride,
This one has got a 18-foot horizontal cutting reach, the one
Okay.
Jack quoted me.
I thought he said 20, but
What a mess.
It's a long line.
that's a lot of,
It
But
seems,
you have the advantage of being able to
right.
mow on the other side of guardrail.
Well, how many places, if, going up the Brook Road, where are you gonna go over the guardrails if you're in a brook?
Well,
There ain't too many places over the guardrails you gotta mow.
well, right across here, that's all growing up.
that is a Land Pride.
Yeah,
Just a short distance.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, it ain't like
they
you're
go
going
through
40
there.
miles.
I got one.
no.
They are a good mower.
And it seems to me like it's gotta be a two-part process. You go through first with that, and then you come back and cut it by hand. If you look at what the state is doing right now up on Route 7 after you just go north of Wallingford,
Yep.
where old Route 7 comes out before you get to the gorge, they've got a machine like that, but then they're going back by hand and they're cutting all the stumps and everything flat to the ground, and it looks nice. It doesn't look like the mess down on the railroad.
But the only problem with that is we got so many stumps that's cut this high, and the grass is up this high, and they're gonna put that down, they're gonna hit that stump,
Well,
they're gonna
that's what I'm
bust
saying.
that.
It's gotta be a two-part process where they get those stumps
Yeah, well,
flat.
You gotta go cut a lot of stumps down first,
Yeah,
and you know that's not gonna happen.
Well, and if that hit a stump that was good sized, wouldn't that,
Trip.
it wouldn't just.
It has a trip on it, so if you hit something hard, it tips back, so that you're not destroying the ass end of the tractor or the mower
The
itself.
mower itself.
That's one of the features, I believe, you can find it on here, that it has a quick release on it, so when you hit something hard, it will release.
Let me just, I think from the meetings and the discussions that we've had, that I think we're kind of all in agreement that we need a new tractor. Is that?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Definitely need a tractor.
we need a
Okay.
tractor,
Well,
yeah.
So that we know we need. And,
Well-
and is it possible or probable, or if, when we're negotiating for the tractor, if we were going to get a new mower, is that the time to negotiate because we get a better price? If you buy them together, or?
It could be that much, but it'll probably help. I didn't even check to find out what them,
Would our mower,
Decide.
would the mower we have work, aside from the issue you're saying, Charlie, that it won't reach in some places?
Would it
Would
work
it,
on that tractor? Yes.
it would work on that
It'd
tractor?
work on
That mower
anything.
ain't very good.
no, no, definitely.
it's
gonna take that, keep
that. It's on its last legs. It's got holes in the deck. I don't know when the last time the blade was sharpened on it.
Well, they put enough blades on them, so they've been sharpened.
They've been sharpened.
They've been sharp. Like, look at, that was
Yeah, I thought it did a
last
nice
year,
job last
last
year.
summer, when she got done doing them roads. That's the
check on
best
the
them roads
price
have
on
looked in years.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
They did great
She
last-
did a fantastic
Versus,
freaking job.
Yeah.
regular.
No,
That mower can't be
No, I was
junked
wondering what these
for a
are,
job like that.
price wise.
well, that's what that mower there cost.
The mower itself is
The
20,000?
mower itself is 20,000.
Which one's that?
That's the one from Salem Farm Supply.
You know, the behind the tractor? or-
It's
No,
behind the
no.
tractor over the rail. It's 3-point hatch.
He said definitely you can't go mid-mount.
And
Definitely don't recommend going mid-mount because there's too many hydraulic
Yeah.
changes if you wanna add more stuff to it down the road. He said go with the rear. I totally agree with that.
And to put a mid-mount on that tractor, unless we found somebody like maybe Diamond Mowers with a loader on it, you can't put a mid-mount. Diamond, they want $30,771 for a 3-point hitch mower. For an
So
over-the-rail
That's
mower.
comparable to this.
Right.
to this. So we're looking in for the 20 to 30,000 range. So,
That would be
we
this
know,
mower.
we know we need we know we need the tractor, but it sounds like we could get by a little longer with our mower. And, and I mean, if our equipment reserve is 114,000, obviously.
And it's less than that because of
Yeah.
these truck repairs.
Right.
You got a
for
lot of
truck
repairs gotta go
Although,
there,
we did have budgeted in our 20 budget to put in additional money, so I think it would be 139 as of July.
No,
Side mower.
No?
no.
Isn't that
The,
what I'm-
I thought we were on.
35
Yeah, for an
is
over-the-rail,
what's
so I
getting,
didn't
it's
price.
only at
Oh,
79 right
I'm
now.
leaning that way, I just.
And what's
The
this?
budget is the 35 and that's how we got.
With reaching out and cutting down people's property, cause it does look like.
Oh, in July.
Right.
It's gonna have more.
Right.
The way.
So we've already
showed,
budgeted that for,
If we
and
get a
collected
trailer
those,
for
yeah,
that,
Trailer.
Yeah.
that'll take care of,
right.
Trailers.
like you said, once we get.
Well,
the
that's kind of
ditches
what
and
I'm
stuff,
thinking is that,
Well, we've gotta.
you know,
I think this
Get over on
Put
the
a hold on
bank,
it.
Yeah.
if there is a bank.
I'm leaning in
I
that
don't know whether
direction,
we're
let's
gonna
get the
do it,
tractor
but
and,
boom.
Just get the tractor.
Yeah. I don't wanna stall on that because our tractor's in terrible shape.
Find that bank again and start cutting out there. You know, let's do it once and mow it.
Well, and for the sake of moving things along,
Yeah.
I'd suggest that, I think we're all in favor of the tractor, and we know we need the tractor, so I would say that we move on the tractor, and if you wanna continue collecting information on a mower, fine, but I guess, you know, I'm looking at the trailer that we might want to do, and the tractor, and just thinking that, you know, maybe if we can get by with the mower for a little while, maybe we should, maybe we decide not to, but is there a reason we have to make that decision now?
No, there ain't.
I do
You,
know,
you wanna go look at that tractor, so we'll go over and
Yeah,
just
we
look
can
at
go
it,
over
see.
there. And then we talked to him and he said they don't have well, of course, they don't have boom on it now, but, just check it out and see if, you know, what they had for, problems or, you know, how it did work on the boom. I know they did say that the extra money, they had the seat actually swiveled with the controls on it. There was a few, well, I don't know, 1,000, but it was quite, or a little bit extra. So when you're sitting on there and you're mowing, it'll move you this
Yeah,
this
so
way,
you're not
but your
doing this
controls go
constantly,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So your seat don't go and then you gotta reach here.
Right.
So to me, that's,
That's
you
hand,
want
I know,
that, so
yeah,
you've got,
yeah,
it moves with you, and that's kind of a no-brainer, so.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Chris. Well, do we need to, in order to move ahead with purchasing a tractor, how would you all like to proceed, you know, with
Well,
that?
let's go over, let's wait till we see that one over there and see if we can.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
So you're gonna take a
Yeah,
look
we
and
got a
we'll
little
bring
bit
it
of
back
time,
to the
but-
full board for further discussion? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, but not months from now.
No,
no.
No, because if you wait months from now, all the quotes that we've got are junk.
right,
Right.
no, we need to act quick. Well, one thing that's coming up is town meeting is coming up very shortly, and so if other people have to weigh in on it, they'd have an opportunity to at town meeting.
And we might get enough, I'm not sure what we are gonna be able to get for, maybe they can give us some idea on what we can get for our present tractor we got, and that could kinda defer the cost a little bit. I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot for it, but,
They always give you something for it.
yeah, somebody, and like I said, one of these
They
small
inflate the price
towns
of the new one.
that needs a mower,
Yeah.
you know, that may just,
Oh, if you just.
where they
yeah,
don't
so-
have a lot of roads,
Yeah,
you know, that may be just what they need and
yeah, could be.
sell it as
Big
is.
sale of the tractor.
What's that?
That might be the big sale of the tractor if you let them all roll that.
Oh, I definitely gonna, I ain't putting that mower we got on that thing is junk, basically. I mean, it might last for a little while, but on that big tractor, no, that
I
ain't
know
gonna work.
Lori's putting the grease, if I remember right, she said she's putting the grease straight to the gearbox and the oil.
Yeah,
Needs a seal in.
all right,
All right, so, so good, we'll have more information at the next meeting, and we know,
let me know,
we know
Doug,
on the
when you
track.
wanna head over, or Steve, or
Whatever.
whoever,
Let's see,
whoever wants to,
tomorrow if you, tomorrow if you wanna.
Oh, yeah, I'm tied up. I gotta head
Saturday?
Up north. Oh, my weekend's tied up.
Huh.
No, I'll get over and, you know who the road commissioner, or anybody is over there? Maybe we get a hold of them and get over there next week sometime and talk when they're at the shop so we can get in. Looks like, Tuesday might be a light snow, but maybe like Wednesday or Thursday. Tuesday, you're tied up
Yeah.
anyways.
Probably Wednesday or
Do
Thursday.
you go down 22 or do you go up over?
Oh, I went that way, I went right by there yesterday.
I'm gonna say,
I had,
cause I could always drive over and meet you over there like on a Tuesday. But, or I trust you to just go in and talk with them yourself, you know, just see what they do. What do you do think of it, so. Yeah, we'll check on that, we'll get it,
yeah, I could've stopped there yesterday, I guess.
yeah,
All right,
alright,
all right, good.
okay.
So next up, we have our discussion of the emergency mutual aid agreement, which I'm not sure that we haven't already discussed enough, but certainly if we want to discuss it more, that's what Shelley was talking to us about with the mutual aid. And that was what was in our packets last month. And so if we approve to join the mutual aid thing, then we would execute that and sign that as of tonight. And I think that we had determined there really was no reason not to do it.
There's no downfall to
It
it, so.
doesn't, it seems like it's a good deal for all the
We've
towns.
always done pretty much,
Yeah.
it don't happen often, but
I'll make the motion, we sign it.
I second it.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Second was
So, yeah, second was Paul.
Yeah,
And yes, and so we're signing the emergency mutual aid agreement. Approved and
Yeah, we'll sign
executed at, Danby,
No, is that just for Rutland County?
13th day of,
I don't think so, being mutual aid.
I don't think so. Let me just see.
Because I know we help Dorset and they're not Rutland County.
Well, I think it depends on who signs on.
But it really don't matter anyway, we have a good relationship with Dorset.
Right, but it matters in terms of whether they could pay us for the work that we do, or we could pay them for the work that they do. But I think that, I think what it is that all the counties are being asked to do this by their planning commissions. They may be signing, but I think it's all mutual.
If they don't pass, we'll just go take their trailer.
That's what we got, mutual trailer.
Municipality of
I don't
Town of
know
Danby.
that either.
By. Okay, looks like they just need
Just
one
one
signature. I'll sign as chair. All right. Next up, sign appointments for Ken Abbott and Ken Abbott Jr. as Town Forest Fire Warden and Deputy. So, I can't remember the last time we did this. So there's a little note here, from Lars Lund, the State Forest Fire Supervisor. And he wrote that, to Janice, I've, called both Ken Abbott Jr., Senior and Junior, to tell them their reappointment forms are at the town office. Please remind Ken Senior that he needs to sign Ken Junior, reappointment form as Deputy Fire Warden. I apologize for the delay, though both of them have been sent these forms before. Please give me a call okay, so it sounds like, it's past time to reappoint our forest fire wardens. So if somebody would like to,
And make your motion, we do it.
Second.
any discussion?
I'm sorry.
So we will be appointing, or reappointing, for our forest fire warden, we'll be reappointing Ken Abbott.
Ken Abbott Jr.
Doug
Oh, I'm sorry,
And I'll second it.
yeah. And then for our,
Deputy.
yeah, was that the term he used? Or assistant? I can't remember.
Deputy.
Yeah,
Yeah, deputy
Junior's
fire,
town, yep.
fire warden would be Ken Abbott Jr. Kenny G. All right. I'll send them this way this time. Actually, I'll send one in each direction. How's that? And maybe just take a minute to thank them for their service. I tend to call Ken on Sunday mornings to ask if I could get a burn permit, and he always answers the phone.
So you need to say all in favor.
Yep, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Brad. Keep me honest. Oh, did you get
I didn't get this one yet.
that? All right.
I didn't either.
Right, got that one, everybody? Yep. So next up is discussing of the auctioning the town hall, and I asked to put that on the agenda. So Brad and I met with the,
Vermont League of Cities.
Vermont League of Cities and Towns and about the insurance, and we did discover that the town hall towns do use the town hall and it could be used, and the whole issue about police and liquor and all of that can be worked out. So that's great. But I also had a conversation because we still had the big issue of parking and not having any parking, and the logical place to look for that possible remedy was to the adjacent lands of Smoky House, because my understanding had been when I was at Smoky House that they had not put easements on those agriculture lands because they thought that it might serve a larger town good at some point in the future, and they were sort of anticipating that. But since the time I left Smoky House, they have put agriculture easements on that land. I called and spoke with Jesse, and that easement precludes them using it for any purposes that are not ancillary to agriculture. And so, town hall does not fall under that. And so we can't get that there. If there was other lands to get, we would have to purchase it in addition to the huge cost that it would be to repair and replenish the town hall. And so I was putting it on because it also came to light as I was sort of looking into it that, it's possible that there is another entity in town that might purchase that and use it for something that would benefit the town. Whereas right now it is falling down. It's not falling down, it's in fairly good repair, but it needs roof work, and if it's not constantly maintained, it's going to fall down, as any building would. And so I thought that, I know the town voted to sell it. I was the one that said, yeah, they voted to sell it, not to give it away, and we know that because of the issues that it's likely, we know that if we were to try to build a new building like that, it would probably cost, Timoth's cost them about $500,000, $600,000.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, we know we could never replace it, and so it's kind of a shame. But on the other hand, it seems that the issues that are facing it are much larger than we can solve in real time before we have to continually put money into it. And then Brad has brought up the fact that we have, other buildings in town that are not being used, or maybe imminently not used. So I was thinking that we should revisit the idea of auctioning the town hall, and wanted to discuss it with a heavy heart. I do that, but I kind of ran into a wall and feel like I've done my due diligence on it.
Did anybody check with Holly and see if we could use them should let it use that for parking?
I haven't had a direct conversation with her.
Because it's
I
gonna be,
haven't been, I wasn't able to catch up with her directly. I think that's a worthwhile thing to turn that stone over, yeah. I mean, we,
because,
yeah.
okay, you know, everybody, all the people in Danby, most of them don't want that to be auctioned off.
No, that's not true. They have twice voted, and the second vote by a larger majority to
We
sell it.
voted, we voted too to sell that town too, and we didn't, and we voted to keep it, so why can't we do the same with the town?
Well, they
hall?
have voted twice, and the second vote had more.
Yeah,
Well, I think one of the things that probably Doug's experiencing is that, you know, there's a little bit of a divide maybe in town, that those who live up in that neck of the woods, you know, yeah.
it's,
I have sentimental attachments to it. I've had a lot of good times there, and
Yeah,
also sad times with
yeah.
being
Well,
there after a funeral.
We were considering a May, auction.
May 5th, with a minimum bid of $10,000, so it's not giving it away.
No, well, when you consider what it would cost to build a new one,
that's giving away, that slate's worth $10,000 on the roof.
Right now, the roof needs $5,000
Yeah,
worth of
there's
repair.
$10,000 worth of slate on the roof.
Well, there might be or there might not be, because a lot of it was examined by Mr. Phillips and it's shot. So I don't know.
well, it certainly isn't, you know, it's not like a sale and we're gonna bring money into the coffers. It's not a
Right.
huge, you know, but on the other hand, if it's, you know, something that we can't use and in order to use it, it would require a lot of repair in order to be brought up to code so that it could be used. And that, you know, just knowing what we put into this building, you know, we'd have to raise a lot of monies to do it. And I would want to do that if it was a viable, you know, option. I would at least want to have that discussion with people, but without having any option for parking, it's kind of a moot point. But maybe what we do is, if we're talking about a May auction, we could still decide in March to go ahead with the auction. We'd have time to give,
I don't know.
oh, because of the auctioneer?
Yeah.
Is it under the historical, that building?
I don't believe so.
So if somebody wanted to knock it down,
Yeah. Yeah.
And as far as Holly's goes, if I remember correctly, half of that property belongs to Neil's brother. Because I thought there were two building lots there. Neil
We
had
can look
one.
that up
and
right
there's-
now.
Where's Holly
Right.
is, that was Dick's.
Dick, that's his.
Yes,
Yep.
right from that post down is Holly's.
Can we
And
look
the
at
fence in
the
back. Then-
tax maps? Let's take a
Yeah,
look and see.
right from, you know where I used to go in to do the field there?
Yep.
That steel post.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where it starts and it goes right down to the Marvin Gates
Oh,
stone wall. That
corner,
whole piece is Holly's. That was Dick's. Because
okay,
Dick had his trailer about halfway.
okay, so it's now, we think it's now all
Now it's
Hollis.
all Holly's, yeah. Because Bobby bought it from,
Yeah. Well, there's
From
nothing
Dick.
wrong with having a conversation with her. I haven't been able to catch up with
Yeah.
her. She's doesn't appear to be there,
a lot, yeah.
yeah.
I see her every now and then. If I happen to see her, I'll ask her.
And I might be able to find a phone number. I don't know if,
But there's a fence right in back there and that's Joan West
right.
owns that strip. Got an acre,
It's
yeah.
1 acre. So, I mean,
Well, even if you have the parking, what are you gonna use the building for?
well,
You've
so,
got this gathering space down here, you've got the school, you've got the church, you've got the Masonic Hall,
Got
Fire
your-
department.
Fire department's new
got
building.
the fire department's new addition.
well, the thing that has, that those things don't have is it has, if it were fixed up, downstairs, it's got, you know, it's got a kitchen, full kitchen downstairs.
So does the
It's
fire
pretty rough.
department.
But it's got a stage, and it's got high ceilings. I mean, it is the kind of, you know, it's more of a hall than other things that we have.
Yep.
But, I'm not disagreeing with you, Brad, that there are those other things, and, that's why I put it on the agenda, is that and it would cost a lot of money to fix it up, and I'm looking at other things that we have to do, and
We have other priorities, I
yeah.
feel.
But I do, one of the things that would add a lot of money to it is if we had to pay a lot of money for additional property, for parking or something. So what?
And we have other needs. Just to fix the roof on that, I would rather take that $5,000 and put it toward the asbestos removal that we need to do right here.
Yeah, I know, we have other fish to fry. So the auctioneer had given you an updated date of May, is that what you
May
said?
5th, he said.
Okay, and that's if we sign now, saying
Right.
that we wanna do it. If we delay, what happens?
I didn't ask.
There's gotta be other auctioneers out there. Gotta be more than one, ain't there?
Well, there probably is, but her shack has done a lot of auctions around here and does a good job with them. And there's some that won't touch it, like
Yeah,
that one down in Manchester. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
yeah, I remember when you looked into it, there was one that wouldn't touch it at all.
Well, the sad thing is we auction it off for 10 grand,
No.
and right person gets it, you put three apartments in there.
Where?
And
How?
how easy.
How with septic?
That's got a good septic there. It takes care of that whole town hall when it used to be there all the time.
For 2 bathrooms? And the septic's on somebody else's land. I highly doubt that somebody's gonna put apartments in there.
Well, that's one of the challenges, is that I don't know if somebody even has access to that septic. That's a legal question. That's one of the reasons why we don't think it's gonna
Right.
sell for very much. Is there are
Well,
all these
I hope
issues.
you guys are right.
Although an adjoiner could purchase it,
Yep.
and if an adjoiner purchased it, then that would,
Solve the problem.
yeah. The other thing we could do is, before auctioning, we could let it be known to all the adjoiners that we're planning on doing that, and see if anybody makes an offer first. I'd be happy to call all the adjoiners.
In excess of $10,000. Or just alert them to the facts when the
Well,
auction
if
is
there
done.
was an offer,
Yeah.
from one of the adjoiners, we would be able to
Right.
consider it. It would go through the same process, I believe, as our tax sales do, insofar as that if we accept an offer, and actually, I think even with the auction, we'd have to do this as well. Once we get an offer, we have to warn it for 30 days, and if there was somebody who disagreed and felt we were giving it away for too little or whatever, then they could petition and stop us from selling.
I don't think so.
I think that we're required to do that for any sale of town property. I'm
I
pretty
think so.
sure. I'm pretty sure. I can double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that's required. That,
Well, I think we're gonna have the lawyer look at this
yeah,
anyway.
Brad and I talked about that, even if we were gonna sign that, we'd have a lawyer. But would we like to say that for now, and we are gonna be getting together again, pretty soon. I know that's town meeting night, but we could stick a little something else on the agenda if we had to, or call a special meeting, but, probably would call a special meeting, but, would you like me to make those calls to the adjoiners and see if anything comes in that way before
I
we?
would.
What percentage does they get?
They get $1,200. And they take care of the advertising costs and whatnot out of that.
So it seems like it would make sense to call the adjoiners and let them know that
Well,
we're
one
planning
time
on.
the church was interested in it, and then I don't know if the minister changed or what, but then they weren't interested. So maybe, I don't know who's there now, but
The select board at that time dragged its feet too. They wanted it within a certain time period and.
Yeah. I have tried to be in touch with the the minister was there before they built the new place, the one that had the single wide. I stopped there 3 times to try to discuss it, and he would not come to the door. His wife was always very pleasant and nice to me, but I was always told he was sick and couldn't come to the door. So I left messages and he never followed up. So I don't know. I don't know where it is now because there's, I think, a new.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to.
But why don't I reach out to all
If they know that we're gonna be
every
auctioning
joiner.
it off,
Right.
maybe that'll light a fire under their butt and they might
Well,
say,
I
well,
think
he's-
we, you know, the logical, some of the logical purchasers are the adjoiners. I think we have 3, correct?
Correct.
And I'll contact all 3 adjoiners. We don't want to give favoritism to either one.
Right.
We'll say that we're planning on auctioning it off on May 5th unless we get an offer and that, you know, that our minimum is the 10,000.
Is there a fee if it doesn't sell?
Is there a fee if it doesn't sell?
I would imagine.
I don't know if that's important, but it's $1,200, right?
No,
That was $1,200 for promotion cost.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna pay the 1,200 whether
Right.
it's sell or not.
The auctioneer shall receive a compensation of 10% commission of the final selling price accepted at the auction from escrow at closing. Auctioneer will charge a 10% buyer's premium to the buyer on the high bid.
That's right.
So, if I'm reading this right, the auctioneer is going to end up charging us 10% and the buyer 10%.
but if it doesn't sell, what happens?
We're agreeing to pay the $1,200,
Yep.
but I don't know as far as a,
That's 10% of 0 is 0.
right,
But
unless,
$1,200 would have to come out. So I think it makes a lot of sense to contact the adjoiners.
If it's sold for $8,000 or $10,000, we're coming out of what, $7,800? Maybe what?
That's what I say, we're just giving it away.
Yeah.
You gonna spend $5,000 on it just to keep it sitting there?
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conundrum, it really is, and,
Yeah.
but I think we needed to get it on the
And
agenda and
it's-
continue to
right.
try to scratch our
And
heads
it's-
about it. All right, I will make those calls, and, yeah,
Okay, let's
And
get
I
on.
will tell him that we're making the calls and see if we
Yeah.
didn't sign this tonight, how much lead time he needs
right, another week,
to still hold to the May 5th.
right, although it probably doesn't matter whether it's June 5th, if, you know,
Yeah.
from our standpoint, you know.
What the hell difference it make?
Well, they feel there's 2 best times a year to
Oh,
sell
that's true.
things.
Yeah,
Spring and foliage.
yeah,
Because spring you get
yeah,
people that are then
Yeah.
gonna work on it all summer. And foliage, you've got a lot of people in the
Yeah.
state.
yeah. Well, I'll make the calls, ASAP. All right. So we now have a boundary validation form. This has to do with this United States Department of Commerce. It's our Census Bureau. And we are validating, not quite sure what all this,
We're validating our town boundaries.
Right.
And I went over it with Maureen and we looked at that CD that's attached there.
yeah, did you look at it? Okay.
And,
I mean, nothing's changed about our
It
boundaries.
agrees with
Right.
our existing maps.
All right. And nothing's changed since, so this isn't the boundaries on our individual parcels. This is
No.
the boundary of the town as a whole, which has not changed for many, many decades.
Well, you know, Wallingford and Timoth thought that too.
Right, I know, that's true, but we don't have any known
No.
issues. So I would entertain a motion to sign the 2020 Initial Boundary Validation Program.
So moved.
I second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Aye is the trouble. Have they started doing the census work yet? Does anybody know?
I've seen some cards around.
I
that
thought I
say
had too.
census on them, but
Yeah.
nobody's knocked on my door.
Nobody's knocked on my door yet, but I'm sure it will be happening. All right, any other business to come before our body tonight? Any public comment?
I make the motion we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion to adjourn from Paul and a second from Steve or Doug, take your pick.
Take your pick.